What is up, people? Here we are again, and I'm going to show you some vinyl finds. This is records I accumulated over the last couple of weeks. I did another vinyl dig in Sacramento. This time there was no riot protest in the midst of all of it. I could just look for records in peace and be left alone, so it was kind of nice. There was no riot afterwards, so good. Anyway, these next records I'm going to show, like I said, I just got over the last week or so, and yeah, let's just start it off. I got my OMD shirt on because I just scored a new OMD album. It's a live record, live at the Hammersmith Apollo. OMD live record, live at the Hammersmith Apollo. So, really cool. This is a 3-record set. So it's in this tri-gatefold thing here. And 3 records. The 3 records look absolutely alike, so I'll just show you one of them. And it's the whole concert on 3 albums. And this is what the albums look like. It was part of their 40th anniversary tour. And they captured a show. I believe it's in London. And it's on this blue vinyl, which looks absolutely gorgeous. And I love the labels on them because it matches the front cover art. And blue being my favorite color, it's nice to see blue vinyl anytime I can see it. So, but it's a great concert. It's a mixture of new and old OMD music. And I've seen OMD now live 3 times. And it's always a great concert. They throw great fun concerts. So you get all the 80s hits from the band and stuff from their last couple of albums. All the songs, all the 80s songs you would want to hear that were hits anyway. Great album. They're a good live band too. They're fun. It turns into a big dance party. Their shows. I always have a great time seeing them live. I always look forward to seeing them live. Thanks to COVID, there are no more concerts. But hopefully when this virus madness is over, OMD will get back on the touring circuit and come back to America so I can see them again, because I'm not done going to OMD concerts. I want to go to more. And I saw on their website they're announcing shows to take place early 2022. It's a long ways to wait, but I guess it's better than nothing. And they're all European UK dates, so I'll have to wait even longer to hopefully see some American dates. But for now, I got this brand new live album from their 40th anniversary show, which basically celebrates almost their whole catalog. So really cool to have this. It sounds great. The mix on here is perfect. It booms on my stereo, so it's a good live recording, mixed really well. There's a DVD coming out of it sometime this month, and I pre-ordered that, so I can't wait to get that. Like I said, I've seen them live, and they are fantastic, and they sound great on that live record. So OMD, live at the Hammersmith Apollo. I got this. I've been in a Annie Lennox kick the last few digs or so. So I got this album Medusa. The last album of hers I got was Diva, and I love that album. That album's great. And so I was curious about this one. I've heard her cover of "Take Me to the River," and it's a real interesting cover version she did. So I really enjoyed that. So off of that, I bought the whole album. And I had to admit, at first listen, I wasn't exactly blown over by it. I mean, her voice still sounds great on it, don't get me wrong. But I can't say I was hooked immediately. It took a couple listens, and now the album's starting to warm up to me a little bit more. No More I Love Yous is a good song. Wider Shade of Pale, classic cover there. I like her version of Thin Line Between Love and Hate. Some really good songs on here. Like I said, first listen, I wasn't that impressed. I liked it, but I wasn't like blown away by it and hooked by it. But you know, I had to invest a little bit more time and listen to it, spin it a few more times, and some of these songs are starting to warm up to me. I can't say this is going to get a lot of spins. I'll go to Diva before I go to this one. But this was a good record. Her voice, like I said, sounds great on this album. How can her voice not sound great? And she has one of the classic voices, and I love to listen to her sing, even on this record. I mean, it's not a bad record. It's just a record that just, I don't know. I guess I was expecting more, and but I still like it. It just doesn't blow my mind like Diva does. I got this album from the B-52s called Wild Planet. I believe this is their second album. I don't know much about the B-52s. I do like them. Last week I think I bought their first record. Now this one, I have the album with Love Shack on it. I forgot the name. Cosmic Thing, yeah. And I got a live album from them as well. So that'll probably do it for me as far as their vinyl, but and collecting their albums. Obviously, the big songs I wanted to hear on this one is my Private Idaho and Give Me Back My Man. Those two songs are really good. I do like Strobe Light. It's a fun song, but the whole album is fun. It's a fun record, like their first album. It's just really fun. And I do love this album. I like to spin this album. It's a nice album to throw out in the background. It's a fun album to have playing in the background, because my favorite thing to do is, I'm into photography now, so I'll go out and take pictures. I'll load the pictures onto my computer so I can edit them. So I'll want to throw a record on the background while I'm editing photos. This is a fun album to have in the background while I'm editing my pictures. Definitely love, those two songs I mentioned are my favorites on this record, but I love the whole album. I think the whole album is good. They're a real fun, energetic band, and I really dig them. And I'm really the records I do have of them, I'm really enjoying them. And I saw them in concert last summer with OMD in Berlin, and that was such a great show. And they were fun to watch. I really enjoyed their entire set, and I'm having a blast in collecting their albums. I'm really glad I got into them. Okay, a couple of videos back, I noticed I had no Steely Dan in my collection, which was strange because I like Steely Dan. I think they're a good band, and they had a lot of great hit songs that I like to listen to on classic rock radio. So it just surprised me. I didn't really have many of their albums. I had their greatest hits, and I had Asia, and that was it. The last album I bought, I think it was Countdown to Ecstasy. Now I got three more Steely Dan records to add to the collection, as I drop one on the floor. So we'll go through these. This one is called Katy Light. I just bought it used for a couple bucks, but there is some wear on the cover. But the vinyl is surprisingly in very good shape. And it's just on MCA, nothing exciting there. Jeff Porcaro from Toto plays drums on most of the tracks. I think there's only one or two tracks he doesn't play drums on, but most of the tracks on the album he does play drums on, and that's him right there, drummer from Toto. And he's always been one of my heroes on the drum kit. Going back to when I was first learning how to play drums, he was one of those drummers that I really admired and thought was amazing. I still think he's amazing. Nothing's changed there, but I always love their music, Steely Dan. They always get the best musicians to play on their albums, and the records always sound incredible. So this album is a killer. I absolutely love this album. Side 1 is probably my favorite side on here because there's so many great songs on side 1. I mean, there's some cool jams on this record, so really glad I got it. And then the next one up is Pretzel Logic. All these records are really good. I'm glad I pulled the trigger on all of them and brought them into my collection. This one's a gatefold. And if I can just get it up, there we go. And it has this really long picture here in the gatefold. But cool band photo. The big song on here was Ricky Don't Lose That Number, but this is, again, like the last album, it's an enjoyable listen. They got a lot of great deep cuts on this record. This is on the ABC Records logo. This vinyl is actually in really good shape, really good condition, so I was really happy. Again, the cover has some wear on it, but if the vinyl is in good shape, that's good enough for me. Like, I didn't pay a lot of money for this record anyway. It was used, and as long as the vinyl looks great, in good shape, and I love the music, what more do you really need? Really killer album. So really glad I got that one. The last one I'm going to show is the Royal Scam. I've always liked this album cover. I always thought that was an interesting looking picture there. Really cool album. This one has another favorite drummer of mine. I believe his name is Bernard Purdie. Known for, I hope I didn't butcher it. I think that's his name. Anyway, I've been watching his instructional videos on YouTube because he's known for that nice shuffle groove that he does so well, and I am a big fan of when he plays those types of grooves. So I've been watching him on YouTube, and he does drum on this record, and his drumming's badass on this record. Same label, ABC Records. According to this record store, this is a UK pressing, first pressing, UK OG pressing, so nice to know. Again, another killer album. Another killer. It's a great musicianship on this album. I love the rhythm section in all the Steely Dan records that I showed, because they bring in different players on all three of these albums, and the music, like I said, I'm just floored by the musicianship. And not just the drummer and the bass player, but they got some great guitarists that take some incredible solos on these songs throughout these albums. It's just inspiring to listen to. You know, like, I don't play guitar at all, but I can appreciate good guitar players, and oh my god, there's so many on Steely Dan records. It's like listening to an all-star band or something. It is really impressive, and I really dig these albums that I got from Steely Dan. I always try to get, you know, used copies, records that look like they belong. They came from the 70s. I just like the whole vintage part of collecting their albums. So really cool that I got these albums. So really digging the Steely Dan collection these days. Another band that kind of falls in the same genre, I guess you could say, is Chicago. And I don't really know what the name of this album is. I know they used to number their albums. This one just says Chicago. It even says on the record label and on the spine. So, an album from Chicago. I like the gatefold picture. They always had these cool gatefold pictures here. This one has a hype sticker. Baby What a Big Surprise was the big single from this. And they play that song a lot on classic rock radio around here. So I was very familiar with that song, but not very familiar with the rest of the songs on the record. You know, I like most of the songs on this album. And this has a custom label here, so nice touch there. Yeah, I do like most of them. There's a few songs that that are pretty forgetful. But I would say about half the album is actually really good. And this is one that'll get quite a few spins for me, but I'll probably fast track to my favorites and cut to the fat, as they say. But overall, this is a good album. I wish I knew what the name of it was, but there's no listing of an album name anywhere. So here's an album from Chicago, the latest one I got. But really enjoyable record. Another classic rock band is Reo Speedwagon, and this is just their greatest hits. I always see this album new. I guess it had been remastered, re-released, reissued. And every time I see this in the record stores, it's a new copy, a brand new copy, and they want like $35 to $40 for it. And I always thought that was outrageous. And I finally found a used copy of this for like $4. But it's not the best copy in the world. It's on the Epic label. Side 1 plays really good. Side 2 has a lot of surface noise on it. A lot. It's a noisy record on Side 2. And a couple of skips on the very first song on Side 2, which is Don't Let Him Go. Which is too bad because I like that song. But there's no more skips after that on Side 2. But the surface noise is, oh my God. So no luck so far on a good used copy of this album, unless I want to break down and buy the reissued one for like $35-40, which I don't want to do. So this will just have to do until I find a better used copy. But I was spinning this and really enjoyed it. I mean, Roll With the Changes, Keep On Loving You, Take It On the Run, Riding the Storm Out, Time for Me to Fly. I mean, those are songs I really like from this band. I don't really like the song Can't Fight This Feeling, even though it's one of their biggest hits. I never did like that song. I didn't like it when it was new either. That's just a song that just never did it for me. But the rest of the songs I mentioned I really do like. They're a good band. This is also another good record to put on for the background. I'm not giving it my full attention, but it's a nice record to have on the background, so I dig it. So there we go, Reo Speedwagon. A couple of 12-inch singles, and I'm out of your hair. This is from the Pet Shop Boys. This is West End Girls. It's like an extended dance mix on Side 1. I gave this a chance. I do like it. The one thing that scared me about it is like 12-inch singles from back in the day, back in the 80s, it was hit or miss. Because some of them can get pretty ridiculous. Unfortunately, this one's not so bad in that regard. It's actually a really good extended mix of this song. I really had a fear like I was going to listen to it and not like it because it's just thinking it was ridiculous. But it's actually a pretty good remix. I dig it. I haven't heard the songs on the B-side yet. But oh well. I bought it for the one song. I really like the song West End Girls, and this extended mix is actually pretty good. So really dig that. So good find there. And this next one is from Simple Minds called This Is Your Land. This is a UK import. It's from their album Street Fighting Years, I believe. The single is. Actually features Lou Reed in the song. And it's a good song. I really do like this song. A little different sound from Simple Minds. If you're used to their 80s sound from Once Upon a Time, this is a little different, but it's still a good song. And I've never seen this in a 12-inch single before, so I thought it looked pretty rare to me. So I thought I would go ahead and grab it, and I'm glad I did. There's the label. Really good song. Really dig this. That's actually a really good album, Street Fighting Years. At first, it wasn't really my favorite Simple Minds album, but I've been giving it. But since the lockdown happened, I was giving a lot of records a second chance, and I was spinning that particular one. And upon giving it a second chance, I finally started connecting with that album and a lot of songs on it. So it is becoming one of my favorite Simple Minds records to listen to. And this single, great song. I really love this song. So cool find there. That's a 12-inch single I don't get to see very often, so I'm very happy I scored it. Well, that's it. That's going to do it for this little small batch of records. There's not many stores open in my area. There's only two, actually. Well, three. There's two in the Sacramento area, one in the Modesto area that I've been going to lately. And real strict restrictions just to walk in these stores. You got to have a mask on. You've got to hand sanitize. One store actually takes your temperature at the door. And if you're above 100 degrees, your body temperature, you're not allowed in the store. You got to come back when you can lower your body temperature, and they're real strict about it. And luckily, I've been under the radar, so I've been under 100 degrees, so they let me in. But it's good to see that they're being as safe as they can and another store still only allows 4 people at a time in their store. But luckily, the time I went digging there was no one in there. But when I got in there, a crowd started to develop, and soon there was a line outside the door just waiting to get in. And I was like, wow. But it's good to see these stores are following these guidelines, and they're being responsible and being as safe as they can, just so they can keep their doors open. It's good to see. So hopefully, I keep saying hopefully this virus will go away soon, but when we see confirmed cases going up and up and up, and now they want to bring back professional sports again. President wants to force governors to open schools throughout the country for the fall. I'm starting to not have any optimism this will go away soon. I think the decision's being made. It's not going to go away soon, and when it starts to get cold and we get in the winter months, I'm a little nervous about how worse things are going to get. But I don't want to get political on here. That's just my feelings, and well, like I always say, we'll see how it goes. I'm trying not to say I hope it goes away soon, because I'm on the verge of not believing that anymore. Anyway, I hope everyone is healthy, safe, and still hanging in there. And I know we'll get through this. Anyway, hope you're all well and healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. Later days.